Hi, welcome to the Israel First television program with myself, Martin Blackham, and with my wife, Natalie Blackham. Great to have you with us. Natalie is not normally on the set with me because normally we have a guest here, or I'm not here because Natalie's interviewing a guest, so we're both together, bringing you news, interviews, and features from Israel. And first of all, we've got a few viewers' comments. Don't forget you can always email us at info@israelfirst.org. We love to receive your emails. You can also, by the way, when we have guests in, you can write in. And when we have the guest again, if you write a question for a guest, we will save it for the next time they're in. And then we will ask the question to the guest. And we're going to be talking about guests that we've got coming up, Natalie, in the program today. We've got all sorts of things, very exciting. It's the 50 years of Jerusalem. So we're in our studio in Jerusalem on the 50 years of Jerusalem since 1967. Wow, amazing. And so we're going to be talking about guests, Natalie. We're going to look at the news, and there's also ways you can support the program. We may have time for a quick look at Natalie's book, and Natalie's got a special feature as well on the priestly garments, the stones from the priestly garments. So we were going to have a look at that. So very quickly, and as I say, you can email us at info@israelfirst.org. All the information, how to contact us, is at the end of the program. So if you say, Martin, I didn't have time to get my pen, you can get it at the end of the program. This is from David in Ireland. He says, Dear Natalie, I hope that you and Martin are keeping well. We continue to appreciate your broadcasts. Alison from Australia. Hello, Natalie. I saw your program on Christian television. I was most impressed. Rosemary from South Africa.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Alison. Rosemary from South Africa. We watch your program every Friday on Angel TV. Thank you so much for your news. Often you tell us things we don't hear anywhere else. So that's really, the raison d'etre why we're here, is that we can reveal to you, we can show you what's going on in Israel. We can reveal things behind the scenes. We can interview people, give you a window into Israel so you can see what's happening here. Mark says, Shalom, Natalie, your programs are very informative. And then finally, Ron from the UK. Dear Martin and Natalie, thank you for your recent news from Israel and the various teaching gems that you give us. And it's because of your support, because of your partnership with the program. Thank you to all of those people who are supporting us. And wherever you are in the world, if you want to support us, it's very easy. You just go to our website, www.israelfirst.org. There's a support button, or email us and say you'd like to support us, you'd like to be a partner with the Israel First television program in getting it to the nations, getting the news, getting information.
That's it. Because I think it's not just us, but you, when you hear things, and it's not just Israel who has to stand and be strong, but we can be strong with them and show them our support. I think it's going to be like the next step. We need to support them, to show them that they are not by themselves. And there is a lot of, we have really to bring all the news from Israel, and you are partnering with us to be able, we give you the news, and please spread them because it's very important. So again, the same, our program, when you watch them on the television, if you want to see it again, because it's very important, sometimes the teaching, you want to chew it again or share it with some other people, we have a YouTube channel, and you can look at all the program and you can share them, and you can go on Facebook, you can do a lot of things. We put the program on this YouTube channel, so you can use it, and use it even as a tool, because there is some teaching.
And it's very easy to find it, because some of you will say, well, all these links and stuff, just type into Google, Israel First television program, YouTube, into the Google search engine, Israel First television program, YouTube, and it will immediately come up, and you can watch, as Natalie was saying, you can watch some of the programs that we're doing and catch up with all the programs.
Mm-hmm. And we do also, I'm just thinking, update every week. So again, if you want to have it, go on our website and you can just subscribe. It's free, and it's just to keep you in touch even more, that, for you to have news really from Israel. I know that sometimes it's difficult to get the reality of what's happening here. So again, we're giving sometimes a teaching, we're giving what's happening here, and the news too.
And just before we come to the news, just a couple of a couple of introductions to our guests coming up. We've got David Bedin coming up. He's an investigative journalist, and he's from the Israel Resource News Service in Jerusalem, somebody who's been on the BBC, ABC News, and he's also reported for CNN. An amazing guy.
And again, with what he's saying, we can, all the news, you can really spread them. He speaks a lot about like the Palestinian schools are really like a machine of war, because they are not really they don't bring peace. And so again, it's for you to take all this information and pass it to your church, your congregations, your prayer group, or your family. You know, you can really spread the news. It's very important. You are very important all around the world. And again, we say, we bring you things for you to carry on the work where you live, because it's very important. We are partners together.
And, you know, it's because of the partnership, because of people standing with us. And you may watch today and you've thought about partnering with us. It's extremely important. And not only are you partnering with the Israel First television program, but you're also sowing into Israel on the 50th anniversary of the reunification of the nation of Israel. Very, very easy to do. And you can do it by either PayPal or by a check if you do it the old-fashioned way. Very, very easy. So do that today. Don't put it off, because every gift really helps. And it's not just to keep the program running, but we're also looking to invest in equipment. Now, David Bedin, as Natalie was saying, is a very interesting guest, and has done a lot of research into the camps, the UNRWA camps, the United Nations Relief Agency. He brought into the studio a few of his books, Roadblock to Peace, The Genesis of the Palestinian Authority, and he's going to be coming in and talking about those books. Well, and we've also got, very quickly, David Rubin's coming in again. He's going to be talking about his book, The Islamic Tsunami, about Islamic terrorism in the days that we live. Such a relevant book with what's happening in the world. And David, who was unfortunately in a terrorist attack, is going to be talking to us about Islamic terrorism. So you're not going to want to miss that. Tell all your friends to tune into that one. And then we've also got a guest who is a spokesperson for the Shield of Jerusalem, the Ataret Kohanim, and he's going to be coming in. That's Daniel Luria, and we're going to have Daniel in, and you're not going to want to miss any of that. And he's going to be talking about the reclamation of the city of Jerusalem. Now, not many people know that today.
Rebuilding Jerusalem.
Right, but not many people know that there were pogroms in Jerusalem and the Jewish people had to leave. And how do we know that? How do we know? You know, you might say, your friends might say, well, why should the Jewish people, you know, they're occupying it, they're taking the Palestinians' houses? No, because how do we know that it was Jewish? Because there's synagogues there, and Muslims don't have synagogues. So we know, because of the synagogues in the old city of Jerusalem, that it was a Jewish area. And I like what Daniel says. He says it's the old city. The old Jewish quarter. You know, they have the new the Jewish quarter, and they calls it the old Jewish quarter.
Which is so true. When you see, I mean, we are just going to show you now a clip of very exciting of the war of 1967. Just watch it, and we'll speak about it after.
אנחנו הולכים ומעמיקים לתוך העיר העתיקה. הר הבית בידינו, כאן תגיד, הר הבית בידינו. מאוד תאים כבעל, כל הכבוד, כל הכבוד.
So was it not amazing? Like, and now when you see what was happening, it was war, and now we're here, 50 years after.
And of course, you know, Natalie, the newspapers are full. You know, I've got a quick review of the newspapers. The newspapers are full of Trump's visit for this 50-year anniversary since the 1967, since the Six-Day War, when the Jewish people liberated Jerusalem would be the right expression. Well, you know, the excitement of the newspapers is really captured. I mean, we've got, I've got the Jerusalem Post. It says, it's a tough deal, but we'll get there, talking about President Trump coming into Israel to talk to Benjamin Netanyahu, the Prime Minister. This is a picture of Trump next to the Western Wall, praying at the Western Wall. Absolutely historic, because it's the first time that a sitting president has visited Israel during his first foreign visit. It's the first time there's been a direct flight from Saudi Arabia to Tel Aviv, and it's the first time that a president of the United States in office has prayed at the Western Wall. And such an amazing signal to the Jewish people. And everybody, of course, here was very excited about his visit. Even the Haaretz newspaper, not really a newspaper I'd recommend at all, but very interesting. It's got a picture of President Trump arriving at Ben Gurion Airport for his visit, Natalie, and so very, very exciting. The Jerusalem Post says Trump makes historic visit as first serving US president to visit the Western Wall. He visited the Kotel as Israel gets ready as just on the verge of the 50th anniversary of the recapture of Jerusalem. And
you should have seen, because it's like roads were closed, and like Yom Yerushalayim, this day of Jerusalem, was one day just after he was leaving. And so there was preparation, but preparation also for him. So it's like all the city, and some people were grumbling. But you know what? We should not grumble, because 50 years ago, the city was at war, and now it's not. And it's like so amazing. There was so many young people yesterday with the flags. I mean, like you see the pictures, it's just amazing. And like there is a life. There is something that's happening, and like right at the beginning is there with the stone of foundation when the world is going to created by God, okay, and after is like when Abraham go to see Melchizedek. Melchizedek is in the city of Salem, and they can see that it was Yerushalayim, the city that carry the peace. There is a lot of things.
I think Natalie, the people at home are very excited about this, because it's such a significant thing, and you're looking and watching what's happening in Jerusalem. You're watching all these things. Well, Natalie, you've got some amazing things.
Yeah, I have some amazing things, but maybe for you to feel all this atmosphere that was happening in Jerusalem, look at this beautiful song who was sung 2 days ago in Jerusalem. So beautiful song, and you can feel that you are on the street of Jerusalem.
And I think for our very good friends who are watching, you know that one of the things you need to understand about this is that Israel didn't start the Six-Day War. They were attacked on all, I think it was all sides.
But they were attacked by Egypt.
Right.
And suddenly the soldiers, the Jordanian soldiers in Jerusalem started to fire too. And so Israel had to...
So it was it wasn't a war of aggression, it was a defensive war. Now what is very interesting is that the Israeli army isn't called the Israeli army, it's called the Israeli Defense Force, and it was defending itself against attack. And as a result, the very amazing thing is that as a result of defending themselves against the attack of the Egyptians, the Jordanians, amongst others, it ended up with them taking back, liberating would be a better word, Jerusalem, and also what's
And it was not even planned, you know, because they knew that it was like a hot potato, so they didn't really, but God's hands said now is the time.
And the amazing thing is, it's all the biblical cities because, you know, there's not just Jerusalem, but there's Hebron,
You're right.
there was Shiloh, and it was the liberation of these biblical cities. Now, you've got something very, very exciting to tell us all today.
Yes, again, you see, because now the Jewish people are here in the land, they are discovering things, they have already rebuilt quite a lot, so now they are digging, because they are rebuilding, they are digging, they are finding things, and also people from all around the world really start to see that Israel is important. One of the things, a gift amazing for Yom Yerushalayim yesterday, the Czech Parliament asked their government to recognize Jerusalem. This is like an amazing gift. This is again for Yom Yerushalayim. It just happened. So obviously Netanyahu said thank you very much, and you know they're going to see what's happening, but it's amazing. But the other story is that they seems to have found one of the precious stone from the breastplate from the high priest.
The priestly garments.
Yeah, it was
The
not.
breastplate, yeah.
It was not the
Priest,
costume
yeah.
itself. It was the breastplate
That they put
he
on
was,
top of their
That's it.
things. Yeah.
And they find one of the precious gem, and it was it's like an amazing story because it's like somebody who got the gem contacted some Jewish people, and the story so is an onyx stone, okay, and they claim that it was given to a Knight Templar 1,000 years ago, and from generation to generation, that precious gem was given to.
It's a bit like a story out of a movie, isn't it?
Yeah, but it's true. And what they have found that is in the middle of this stone, there is something written, and it's 2 Hebrew letters. It's just amazing. And you know, this is one of the things because it's 50 years of Jerusalem, but like we're going into some more, like it's redemption time, okay? It's redemption time.
I heard a story, I don't know if it's true, but the light used to shine on this stone.
Yes.
I don't know how many stones there were. There were at least,
The 12.
there was 12 stones for each tribe,
For the 12, yeah.
and then it would
Yeah.
spell out a
Now,
message. Is that right?
Exactly, yeah. Sometimes it seems for us kind of magical, but it's like we have to think that like it was another time. There was some holiness that we have lost. And exactly what you are saying is that redemption time is that we are there is a restoration that's happening, and for everything. And like the Jewish people are becoming more who they were. Like when they came here, they were very socialist, and it was good because they had to work all together. There was so much work to do on the land. They had to just pick up stones and take the stones out of the fields to start to do the harvest. I mean, to plant first of all and have harvest. So they had to do a lot of physical work. But now it's more like they are discovering, okay, there is priests, and they want to rebuild the temple, so they are making the utensils. You know, there is all these things. But in the midst of all of that, I tell you, it's so many exciting things. Jerusalem is like, is the old. When you look in the scriptures, is the oldest capital, and she's been like a sleeping beauty for many centuries, and now she's coming out because the thing is the capital is getting beautiful, but you know what there is in the middle of this capital? There is a park with gazelles, and they had 5 gazelles and now they have 20, like in few years, I think it's like 2 or 3 years, and it's like they are wild, and there is place for them to be there. It's like a nature park, and it was the mayor, the deputy mayor, who really fought for that, saying, no, we need to keep a space, like green space in the city. And when you think about the old city, Jerusalem, and if you think about the Garden of Eden, and now you have this place still for them, it's just amazing. So when you go with all the name, you know, like Jerusalem have almost 70 names. But like if you look and dig, a friend told me that they have 100 names. And the last one who is said for Jerusalem is in Ezekiel, and is the last chapter, and is the last verse, 48, and he said, and the name of the city from that time on will be the Lord is there. Isn't it amazing?
And I know that a lot of our friends at home and you're watching today, friends and supporters, and those who really enjoy the program and watching us every week, they just find this so interesting. And as we said before, you know, it's because of your support, because of your partnering with the program, that we can make this possible, that we can come from Jerusalem, that we can share with you things that are happening in the news, share with you fantastic discoveries that are happening here. And, you know, we really depend on your support. And, you know, do that today. Do support us. I know that there's a lot of people out there who are thinking about it, so do it. And wherever you live in the world is very important. And it's, you know, whatever you can afford to give, it does really make a massive difference. Well, as we're coming to the end of the program, we mentioned different guests that are coming on, Natalie, and I was thinking about David Rubin's going to be coming on and talking about terrorism and Islamic terrorism. Well, just as we come to the end of the program, it's important to mention that there's been it's whilst we're in the studio, you've got to remember, there was a massive terrorist attack in the United Kingdom in Manchester, and 22 people lost their lives very sadly due to an Islamic terrorist attack.
And 120 have been hurt. So in a hospital, right. Or, you know, scar.
So it's huge. It's affecting a huge community, having a massive impact. They say it's an ISIS terrorist who's committed the atrocity. And I was thinking, you know, the things that happen here have repercussions elsewhere. You know, things that happen in Jerusalem, you think, well, you know, they are kind of isolated, but they're not really, because when there are terrorist things happening here, we see them in other parts of the world. So, you know, it's amazing to see the repercussions from Israel that happen in the different parts, and that, you know, Netanyahu often says that Israel is on the front line of democracy in the war against terrorism. And I know that Donald Trump, who was in Israel, was here talking about this coalition of nations that's going to be fighting terrorism. Well, it's been great to be with you this week on the Israel First television program for this special Israel First update. We don't do these all the time, but it's been really nice to be with you. Yes. Hope you've enjoyed it. Don't forget to email us and tell us, ask us questions or tell us you're enjoying the program. We really love to hear from you, and see you next week.
Shalom, today we are looking at the name mankind, which is in Hebrew Adam. And we are looking at it in Genesis 1:27, which is the first time that you can see it, where it's written, God created man in his own image, and in his image of God he created him. So it's the first time that you see the name Adam. So if we look at Adam, is Aleph, Dalet, and Mem. So Aleph represents God. We said already when we were looking at the alphabet of the Hebrew language, that is, Aleph is representing God, is the first one, is Echad, the first, the only God, the true God, okay? And after there is Dam, funny enough, is the name blood. So obviously we have blood, so we are made in the image of God, and we have blood in us. So this is very interesting. Now we can look also at something else, which is interesting, because God created mankind, but after parents had children, and so there is a partnership that is happening between the husband, the wife, and God is there helping for creating, and we can see that in following. You see for Av, which is the father, is Aleph and Bet. Aleph again represents God is like we are made in the image of God is so important. We are made in the image of God, okay? And Bet is representing the father, and Bet is also Bait is a house. So the man is the one who's protecting the house, okay? And after you have M, which is the mother. Again, you have the Aleph, so again, will represent God in her. And after you have Mem, which is the number 40, which is just an amazing thing because to have a baby is like 40 weeks of gestation. So you can see that the mother is made to have the children and the father is there to protect the home. So we can see that in the creation of a child, there is three partners, the father, the mother, and God. And again, is what we see in Genesis 1, that God created man in his own image. So we are all unique, we are all very special, and we carry this holiness in every one of us. So today we've learned some new names together. Av, which is the father, M, which is the mother. Very often if you hear the little children, they will say Ima and they will say Abba. And we learn also about Dam, which is blood. And we can just add the last one, which is Adom, which is red, because it's related to blood. And this is what we've learned today. I hope that you enjoy that, and see you next week.
If you're enjoying the language segments of the program, don't forget you can get hold of Natalie's book, The Beauty of the Hebrew Language, the Hebrew letters and their meanings. That's available on the website. If you'd like to write, you can also write to us and email us if you want to know how you other ways you can get the book, but it's very easy on the website to get hold of that. Do get hold of that. Don't forget to send us your emails. We love to hear from you. Your emails are very important to us. info@israelfirst.org. The website has so much information, www.israelfirst.org. And remember, we're the program that looks at the land, the people, and the language.